Stanley, Scuba, Sailing, and Adventures. Scuba diving in the Turks and Caicos. Dive site, Shark Hotel. The Shark Hotel dive site is located off the Providenciales northwest point. This dive site is also sometimes called Mystery. The boat was moored laying into an easterly wind, with the stern facing west. The wall was just aft of the stern. This is dive number 4 on day 1 of this dive trip. It's also my 4th dive of the year, as this is New Year's Day. The dive started at just about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and lasted almost exactly 57 minutes. I recorded a maximum depth of 73 feet and an average depth of 42 feet. The water averaged a comfortable 82 degrees Fahrenheit. As I mentioned, this was dive number 4 of the trip on day 1, but this was also the second dive on this dive site. On this trip, we would dive each site at least 2 times, sometimes a 3rd time for a night dive. I don't always do the night dives on a live-aboard dive trip like this. I'll sometimes only do 1 or maybe 2 night dives the entire week. However, the top of the reef on this particular dive site looked really interesting to me, so I was planning to do the night dive here. So there'll be a night dive video for this site as well. Also, as I mentioned in the previous video, when a dive site has something in the name like eagle ray or shark or turtle, you typically don't see those things on the dive site. I'm not sure why. That just seems to be the case, at least with all of my experiences so far. Anyway, we didn't see any sharks on the first dive on this site, and sorry to spoil it, but we're not going to see any sharks on the second dive here on this site. I would end up, however, seeing plenty of sharks while diving here in the Turks and Caicos. Actually, the shark populations seem to be extremely healthy here. I'm really enjoying the diving here in the Turks and Caicos. In particular, I really like wall dives, so this is right up my alley. Here, cruising along the wall, I came across a couple of French angelfish. They range in size from 10 to 14 inches and can sometimes reach a maximum of 18 inches. They're usually found in depths between 15 to 80 feet of water. I hung out with them for a few minutes, trying to get a couple good pictures. I think some of the pictures actually turned out quite well, and you can find those on my Facebook page, Stanley Scuba, or Instagram, Stanley Scuba. Sometimes when photographing fish, it just takes a little patience. If you don't crowd them or follow too closely, occasionally you'll get them to turn around and look right at the camera. That's my favorite. Sometimes the profile shots are good too, and sometimes the fish just aren't interested in, I would say, uncooperative, but I don't think that's necessarily appropriate. Probably just not interested. Maybe it's not interest after all, but more of a territorial thing. I'm not sure. But eventually, I got this one fish came in for a couple close passes, and I got some of the pictures I was looking for. And here's that face shot I wanted. Here back on top of the reef, top of the wall, you can see this is really vibrant. Looks like it's going to be a great site for night diving. This right here, this view, this is what looks to me to be ideal for night diving in terms of structure. There are a lot of places for things to hide, crawl into, and then conversely for them to crawl out of at night and come out on top of the reef. However, there are no guarantees, just like with any other dive, right? A site might look like it'd be great for night diving, but then it might be so-so. As with anything else, every dive is completely different, even the same dive site 2 nights in a row. I believe this is a school of Creole wrasse, and that they are probably in the intermediate phase. The Creole wrasse range in size from 4 to 7 inches, reaching a maximum of 1 foot, and they're usually found in a depth of 30 to 80 feet of water. The fish here swimming by the barracuda is an Atlantic spadefish. It took me quite a while to figure this one out, as I thought it looked like some type of angelfish. I've seen these before. Actually, I think I recall seeing large schools of them when I was in Roatan. Anyway, the Atlantic spadefish range in size from 1 to 1.5 feet, reaching a maximum of 3 feet, and they're usually found in depths of 10 to 70 feet. Continuing to cruise along the top of the reef here, you can see it's quite vibrant. There are many fish. I'm not going to try to name all of them. I will, however, tell you that this is a stoplight parrotfish. They range in size from 1 to 1.5 feet and may reach a maximum of 2 feet. They're usually found in depths of 15 to 80 feet of water. I really enjoy photographing the stoplight parrotfish. They have some wonderful yellow highlights and just a bunch of different colors, and if you get the lighting right on the scales, there are many different shades of blue. And then in the different phases too, like the stoplight parrotfish in the initial phase actually has a lot of red on it, and the scales are almost like gray and red and kind of checked, and they change colors as they grow. It's really, they go through quite, in my opinion, a unique transformation in color scheme. But anyway, I really enjoy photographing the stoplight parrotfish at all phases. Here we can see a couple of black sturgeon triggerfish mixed in with a school of Creole wrasse. The black sturgeon triggerfish range in size from 6 to 12 inches, reaching a maximum of 16 inches, and they're usually found in depths of water from 20 to 100 feet. So much to see on this dive site, and glancing down, I noticed the lionfish. They are an invasive species here in the Caribbean. They don't have any natural predators here in the Caribbean, so they're really a problem. People have started hunting them, and I've actually eaten them. They taste pretty darn good. I've had them prepared as ceviche or battered and fried. It's a white light fish. It's actually really tasty. The red lionfish range in size from 5 to 10 inches, reaching a maximum of about 15 inches. And as far as depth, they really have a wide range. They can be found anywhere from a foot of water to down as far as 1,000 feet. These spines are venomous. The dorsal, ventral, and anal fins have spines with venom in them, and if that punctures your skin, it's extremely painful. The treatment for that is to apply hot water between 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, or a wet compress as soon as possible. And that helps denature the toxin and alleviate the pain. You're supposed to leave that in place for 30 to 90 minutes. As far as I know, no one's died from being stung by a lionfish, but my understanding is that it is quite painful. You can tell the video is getting a little grainier. I recorded the dive end time right at 4:59, so basically 5 o'clock. And this being January 1, the sun was really low in the sky, so the ISO is starting to auto-adjust on my GoPro. But very exciting at the very end of this dive, and I left it, and it's very grainy and off in the distance, but again, just cruising along the top of the reef, and a pair of eagle rays came out in front of me, so you'll see that in just a minute here. But that was very exciting. It was a great way to end the first day of diving. Again, I'll be returning in a couple hours to do a night dive on this site, but it was a great way to end the first day of diving. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.